There are predators that move in silence, and there are those whose presence reshapes the air around them. The bald eagle belongs to both worlds. It can drift across the sky with effortless calm, almost invisible against the vastness, and yet, when it chooses to act, the moment carries weight, sudden, undeniable, final. The bald eagle, Haliaeetus leucocephalus, is not defined by speed alone or by sheer aggression. Its identity is rooted in contrast. A dark, powerful body paired with a stark white head that catches light in a way few other birds can. From a distance, that white crown becomes a signal, unmistakable, almost symbolic, as if the bird carries its own mark of authority wherever it goes. This is not accidental. Over time, humans have projected meaning onto this image, elevating the eagle into something beyond biology. Yet long before it became an emblem, it was already a master of its environment. Unlike the golden eagle, whose world stretches across open land, the bald eagle is bound to water, lakes, rivers, coastlines. These are its true domain. The surface of water is not just a resource, it is a mirror, a stage, and a battlefield. Fish move beneath it, unseen to most, yet visible to the eagle through a clarity shaped by evolution. Its eyes are tuned to detect movement through reflection, distortion, and light. A flicker beneath the surface is enough. When it hunts, the approach is controlled. The wings remain steady, the descent measured. There is no reckless dive. Instead, the eagle lowers itself toward the water with precision, extending its talons at the exact moment where speed and angle align. The contact is brief, almost surgical. In one motion, the fish is seized, lifted from its own element into the air, where the eagle regains full control. Gravity shifts. The prey has no answer. Yet the bald eagle does not rely solely on its own skill. It is an opportunist in the truest sense. There are moments when it chooses not to hunt at all, but to take advantage of the work of others. Smaller raptors, such as ospreys, may dive and catch fish with remarkable efficiency, only to be pursued and harassed midair. The bald eagle forces a decision: hold on and risk collision, or release the catch. In that instant of hesitation, the fish falls and the eagle claims it. This behavior, often described as aerial piracy, is not a flaw. It is strategy. This adaptability extends beyond birds. Any source of food, if accessible, becomes part of its system. Mammals, carrion, even human activity can create opportunity. Fishing areas, for example, sometimes attract eagles, not because of natural abundance, but because of excess. A discarded catch, an unguarded moment, a lapse in awareness. These become openings. The eagle does not judge the source. It responds to availability. Despite this flexibility, there is a rhythm to its life that remains anchored to a place. Bald eagles often return to the same nesting sites year after year, building structures that grow in both size and significance over time. These nests, typically located in tall trees near water, can reach extraordinary dimensions. Some have been recorded at nearly 3 meters wide and over 6 meters deep, weighing more than a metric ton. They are not temporary shelters. They are long-term investments reinforced season after season. Within these nests, a different kind of intensity emerges. The solitary hunter becomes apparent, and the focus shifts from survival to continuation. Eggs are incubated with care, protected from predators and the elements. When the young hatch, they enter a world defined by dependence. Food must be brought, protection must be maintained. There is no margin for neglect. As the chick grows, the demands increase. Their bodies develop rapidly, requiring constant nourishment. Parents alternate roles, one hunting while the other remains. The system is efficient, but not without risk. Every absence leaves the nest exposed. Every delay carries consequence. Still, the process endures, shaped by repetition and necessity. Young bald eagles do not immediately resemble the iconic image associated with the species. Their plumage is darker, mottled, lacking the sharp contrast of white and brown that defines adulthood. It takes several years, often around 4, for the full transformation to occur. During this time, they wander. Vast distances are covered, sometimes hundreds of miles in a single day. These early years are not about territory, but about learning, about understanding the landscape, the patterns of prey, the behavior of other predators. Not all survive this phase. The journey is long, and the world is not forgiving. Yet those that do reach maturity carry with them an accumulated knowledge that shapes every future decision. By the time the white head and tail emerge, the bird is no longer inexperienced. It has already navigated a complex and demanding world. There is a perception that the bald eagle exists as a solitary figure, isolated and independent. In many ways, this is true, yet there are moments, particularly in winter, when large numbers gather. Lakes and reservoirs rich in fish become temporary meeting points. Dozens, sometimes hundreds of eagles may be seen in a single area, each maintaining its own space while sharing the same resource. It is not cooperation in the traditional sense. It is coexistence, driven by necessity. And then, as conditions change, they disperse once more. The sky clears. The gatherings dissolve. Each eagle returns to its own path, its own territory, its own quiet authority. What remains constant is not location, but presence. The bald eagle does not need to dominate every moment. It does not need to prove itself repeatedly. Like the golden eagle, its strength lies in control, in knowing when to act and when to remain still. Above the water, where light fractures across the surface and movement hides beneath reflection, it continues to glide, watching, waiting, calculating, not rushed, not uncertain, just ready. Time for the bald eagle is not simply something that passes, it accumulates. Each season adds a layer of experience, and with that experience comes refinement. In the wild, many individuals live for decades, and some have been recorded reaching nearly 40 years of age. Longevity in this case is not passive survival. It is an active process, one shaped by adaptation, memory, and efficiency. Older eagles do not waste movement. They do not chase without purpose. They recognize patterns, anticipate behavior, and act with a precision that younger birds have yet to develop. This growing intelligence reveals itself in unexpected ways. While often seen as solitary hunters, bald eagles are capable of a level of coordination that suggests something more complex beneath the surface. On occasion, two individuals may work together, one flushing prey from cover while the other positions itself to intercept. The action is brief, almost subtle, yet effective. It is not cooperation in the structured sense seen in pack animals, but it is not random either. It is situational awareness shared across space. Their relationship with the environment extends beyond hunting. Bald eagles are known to interact with objects in ways that seem almost playful. There have been observations of individuals picking up sticks or debris and passing them midair, releasing and catching them in controlled motion. Whether this behavior serves a functional purpose or simply reflects a form of engagement with their surroundings remains uncertain. What is clear is that the eagle is not a purely mechanical predator. There is variation, curiosity, and a degree of unpredictability. Even so, dominance does not mean invulnerability. The bald eagle, despite its status, exists within a system that can shift against it. There was a time when its future became uncertain. Widespread use of chemical pesticides, particularly DDT, led to thinning eggshells and declining populations. Hunting and habitat disruption added further pressure. For a species so strongly associated with strength and sovereignty, the decline was stark, a reminder that even the most iconic forms of life can be destabilized. What followed was not immediate recovery, but gradual correction. Protective laws were introduced, harmful chemicals were restricted, conservation efforts focused on habitat preservation and monitoring. Over time, the balance began to return. Populations stabilized, then expanded. The bald eagle, once threatened, began to reclaim its place in the skies of North America. This recovery was not accidental. It was the result of deliberate intervention, an acknowledgement that preservation requires action. And yet, even with this resurgence, the eagle remains tied to conditions it does not control. Clean water, stable ecosystems, accessible nesting sites. These are not guaranteed. They must persist for the eagle to persist. Conservation, in this sense, is not a completed task. It is an ongoing requirement. Beyond its ecological role, the bald eagle occupies a unique position in human culture. Since the late 18th century, it has stood as a national emblem representing ideals of strength, freedom, and vision. Yet this symbolic role has not been without debate. Historical figures questioned its character, noting its opportunistic behavior and its tendency to steal rather than hunt. These observations were not incorrect. The eagle is not a creature of pure nobility. It is efficient, adaptable, and at times ruthless. But perhaps that is precisely what gives it meaning. It does not represent perfection. It represents reality, strength shaped by circumstance, survival defined by choice, presence maintained through balance rather than dominance alone. The image of the bald eagle, then, is not a simplification. It is a reflection of complexity. As daylight begins to soften and the surface of the water turns to shifting gold, the eagle remains where it has always been, above, observing, aligned with the rhythm of its world. There is no urgency in its movement, no excess in its design. Every motion, from the smallest adjustment of its wings to the controlled descent toward the water, carries intention. In the distance, another eagle crosses the horizon. For a moment, their paths intersect, not in conflict, not in cooperation, but in acknowledgement. Two figures moving through the same air, shaped by the same forces, yet entirely dependent. Then they separate. One turns toward the fading light, the other follows the curve of the shoreline. The sky holds both without preference, without resistance. And as the last trace of brightness lingers on white feathers, the bald eagle becomes something more than a predator, more than a symbol. It becomes a presence, not loud, not constant, but undeniable. A quiet force written into the open air, carried forward by time, sustained by balance, and remembered long after it has passed beyond sight.